in one of our weekly live. And today our live is again about change. Hi everyone, I'm gonna wait around ish like 30 seconds, 1 minute, just to give the opportunities to everyone to log in, and then and after that we're just gonna dive in. If you want, in the meantime, please let me know where you are watching this live from, and many great things for all of you. Um, I hope the week is going well. Like we are today, Thursday, so we have Friday, and then the weekend is coming, our rest moment. Remember that also rest is part of our work, because we just need to rest as well. So don't underestimate the power of resting. And yeah, we are live already 1 minute, so let's start this new topic. So, hello everyone, I'm Stefania Arca. I am a strategic project manager and advocate for conscious leadership. Today, I want to talk about how to make change work for you, for your project, for your company, and for your teams as well. This time, I don't want to go too deeply inside, emotional intelligence or how you're gonna feel about that, because I had already a series of 5 lives together with Barbara about the change. So, what is going to happen inside your mindset? So, how you can actually achieve a change in your personal life, on your professional career, following the 5 steps that Barbara and I have highlighted. For whoever haven't watched those lives, no worries, because they are saved here on LinkedIn. So I mean, as soon as this live is gonna be over, I'm gonna just share the links here as a comment. The steps that Barbara and I have highlighted are: first of all, you just need to be aware that a change is needed. Second, you just need to accept the change, and then you just need to have accountability, adaptability. So you just need to shape yourself to the new condition, and finally, for making the change real, you just need to have some actions. So this is really something about mindset and what is happening inside of you. And today I want to do something more related with project management. And so what actually you have to do inside your project when you're gonna have a change. So first of all, allows me to load our slide. I hope you don't mind, but I like to have a little track for myself, because these topics are very complex and they are so wide that if I'm not gonna have some visual with me, I mean, it's more like that I'm gonna talk more than half an hour. And at the same time, I hope that for whoever is not familiar with, in this case, like project management concept, actually you can follow better my topics. So the live house today, it's called Conscious Change for Leadership. And what is actually happening? So we are facing and we are challenged every day with changes in every situation in our personal lives or in our professional careers. We are facing some changes. This is just a quote that I have found online, and it just to say that in as you can see, like it changes everywhere. In this case, the quote was just like something for motivational, self-motivational. And it just says, you don't need a perfect plan to start. Start messy, start unsure, and start anyway. Clarity comes through actions. Why I have decided to put this quote inside our project management live, because in reality, project management is planning, and then monitoring what is happening in our project. So I have just see like you don't need a perfect plan to start something, and I agree. And at the same time, I mean, you don't get me wrong, of course this is business and you need the plan as perfect as possible, but I don't want that you're gonna get stuck in the idea of perfections. Many people don't improve themselves, don't progress in their businesses because they are facing the perfectionism disease. And if it's something, you're never gonna have something perfect. Our world is not perfect. So, I mean, you just need to accept it. As much as possible, of course, at the beginning, when you start, you just need to have an idea of what is gonna happen. But you do not need to, how can I say, like, get upset if things are not gonna go as planned. So, and the word, sorry, the sentences, clarity comes through actions. Actually, it's what happens also in our project, because our world is so fast, and in every business is daily facing some changes. And if you're not ready, like in reshaping yourself, as I was saying before with Barbara, what is happening is just like the phase happens, you do not have any control of them. And as a consequence, if you're not ready for them, the result are just gonna be confusions for you, for your team, for your client, for the external stakeholders, for everyone. You're gonna lose at the same time value, because you just look like messy, not really professional. Maybe you missed the deadlines as well, and this is not working well with your ethic. And at the same time, like, you risk burnout inside your team, because when people do not have clear their goals, do not have clear their roles and responsibilities, if everyone can do everything, actually you don't need a team. The team today, teams, generally speaking, today exist because our world is so complicated, and it's getting more and more complicated day after day, that actually we just need multiple people for achieving one goal. And usually these multiple people have different talents. They are expert in different disciplines, and therefore it's very important that they are hitting their target in what they are expert of. Otherwise, you don't need a team. Just it's as simple as that. And when we talk about projects, so by definition, I remember once again, a project is something that has a start and that has a finished and a moment. So it's a temporary situation. The project, of course, needs to be planned, needs to have a justification for the business as well. But as much as we want to predict the future, we can't do too much in some situation. For instance, I would say, like, no one was able to plan like COVID. So if I'm gonna think of, for instance, I'm expert in construction, because I come from that industry, and I can say that nowadays the industries for in the industry, the offices projects are never gonna be the same as before. And if you were like working in an office project, I mean, COVID happened. It was like out of everyone's control, and you just need to deal with that. So right now, instead of crying on yourself and asking, what can I actually keep on going with the office? Maybe the right question is gonna be, okay, since I do not have any control on that, how can I change my approach? How can I change my delivery? What is the impact that this change has actually on my project? So this is, I think, a very classic situation that everyone just face probably every day or so. So you have your client calling you and say, oh, you know what, Stefania, I want this feature added by yesterday. And so it means that I want it right now. I mean, these situations happens if you hadn't been good in negotiating at the beginning, so you haven't set the clear boundaries. But at the same time, like you can't be too strict, because as I was saying, like life gets in the way. So for instance, like in my contract with my own clients, I always give the opportunities to change their mind a few times. Like it's not endless. Like maybe it could be you can change your ideas 2 times, 3 times. But I always put the flexibility, for instance, in my contract. Why? Because actually, if you remember the quote at the beginning, we were saying that the clarity comes while we take actions. And in our projects, it works exactly the same. An example is just you need to test it usually. You have an idea and you decide to transform that idea into reality. And for making it real, usually the first test never goes really well. It's never going to be perfect. So you need to change something in the formula of your product in order to have the project completed with a cool handover. So, I mean, when you have, for instance, the first test and it doesn't go as expected, you need to change something. So this is why usually I'm flexible with changes in during the process, and I suggest you to do the same. So I mean, coming back to this situation, you have your client coming and back to you and saying like, I want this feature added yesterday. And now you have 2 choices how to react to something like this. You can choose, okay, I'm started panicking because I had my plan, this feature was not supposed to be added. You start blaming your client, and what actually is going to happen when something is not happening because it's not your client, such as COVID. So you can't blame anyone actually. So you can start panicking and put everyone into chaos because you were not ready for the change. Or instead, you can be ready for the change and accept it and work through the change. Let's see how to do it. So business transformations usually doesn't mean necessary to be chaotic. If you have a structural framework and a conscious leadership approach, so you know that actually, change happens and you are ready for them, even though at the beginning when you started they could be unknown. So you can lead change with clarity, confidence, and actually achieving real great results. So here I just put some questions that you could use for like testing yourself and see where you are at and how you could react in case of change. So one question is just like, what's your biggest challenge when managing a change in your business? Why? Because if you understand what is your biggest challenge, it means that actually it's at the same time also your weakness. So if you work on it before the change happen, possibilities that everything goes better or well are much higher than in the past. Another question that you can have is gonna be, do you have a structured process or do you manage a change on the flight? So if a change happens, do you really know what is your process and your people, like your team, really know how to approach at the change as well or not? Because in this way, if you really know, even I repeat, even if it's completely unknown, if you already know that something could happen and you already know how to react, you look also as an expert, and this is so great in terms of your image. You just look like someone that knows their job and actually can make the client sleep well during the night because you have everything under control, even on things that are actually out of your control. So let's keep on going with some questions like how do you balance speed, control, and ethics when the pressure is on? Of course, change comes always with discomfort. So it always comes with a sort of pain. And usually, pain means pressure on you, on your team. You just need to deal with panic or like anxious people, something like that. And so, do you know how to balance all of this? Because, I mean, in reality, I would like to say to you that no worries, everything is great and you can actually do everything. But we are not living in utopia, and you are real a man, you are human. Usually, projects, as I was saying, they have an end, so you already know like what is the quantity of time, the quantity of cost, so what is the budget, and you just need to deal with them and you just need to balance everything. Moreover, of course, also emotions inside you, or the emotions your clients have, or the emotions that can be generated inside your team, because remember, every change always have an impact. Last question that I put here in this slide, but we can find thousands of questions, is going to be who decides what get changed in the project, and is the process transparent? This is very, very, very important. Why? Because actually, not all change needs to happen. We're gonna see after that a change happens only when actually it's bringing some benefit. Otherwise, we are not gonna take care about the change. And at the same time, as I was saying before, if the process is clear, if everyone knows how to react to a dangerous situation, I mean, everything it's easier. Just think like if you are in a fire alarm conditions, like everything has already like studied in a way, like the path, the alarm, the sound, and everything is done for The situation can be out of control because of the fire, but actually, if you train your people with a structured process, like you can evacuate the building without any damage to people. This is the goal, and this is the kind of process that you want as well in your project for managing properly changes. Because we are talking about project management today, I have included the process coming from Prince2. Prince2 is a project management method that I have studied for being certified as a project manager, and I really liked this method because actually Prince2, it just like it gives you some guidelines of everything a project needs to have in order for being called project and not something else like a product. And at the same time, like it's gonna tell you what you have to do for managing properly the complexity of the project. Project, this is a method that can be applied for easy project or complex one. Prince2 said you what to do in a specific situation, but not how to do it. Why doesn't say how to do it? Simply because every project is unique, and every project management needs to be tailored for the project itself. So this is exactly what we're gonna see also today. We're gonna see some good manners, some good practice that you should do in order to manage your change, but keep in mind that all of them needs to be addressed to your specific case. So if you want to know deeply how can you apply this practice to your own project, please DM me and we're gonna see it together. So Prince2. In the Prince2, change is one theme. It's one of the 7 themes, and it's considered as an issue. I put here in the slide the definition of an issue. An issue is any relevant event that has happened, was not planned, and requires management actions. So I repeat, the change happened in the past, was not planned, so it was completely out of your schemes, plan, diagram, project, etc. And requires some actions for the simple reason that the change happened and has some impact on your project, and you need to deal with a new condition, you need to deal with a new situation, otherwise you can't have a successful project at the end. Who can raise a change? Everyone, guys. Everyone can raise a change. It doesn't mean that necessarily needs to come from your client. It can it can come from an external stakeholders. It can come from some of your team member. It can come from the government because maybe laws are changing, and whatever was working before doesn't work now anymore. It can came from everyone and at any time. So even if the project is supposed to be closed tomorrow, today a change can happen, and maybe tomorrow I'm not able to close the project anymore. Just keep it in mind. And I know that some people get upset with that. I get it, but this is life, and as much as you're prepared, you can handle it. So this is the definition for the change inside the Prince2. So in Prince2, the change theme is one of the 7 core themes, as I was saying earlier, and it defines how a project manager change. So change request and deviation from agreed plans or baseline. This is also why it's so important to me at the beginning in the negotiation with the client when you're gonna take like the agreement. Also start mentioning that something could happen. You could be unknown, it could be a change, it could be a risk, but if you warn earlier the client that something might happen, your relationship is going to be stronger. And when the change actually happens, the client is not going to be upset with you. I guarantee it. I have so many examples in my mind that really happened. So no worries for that. So the baseline change and our plans change as well. It's about having a clear, controlled approach to any modification. It doesn't matter if they're going to be big or small, even if they're going to be very tiny. They are always part of the change, and they are always need to be treated in the good manner. Because they can impact your project. So some tips if you want to be successful in managing the change. Ensure that all changes, real, potential, big and small, actually they are identified, two, assessed, and three, control. Guarantee at the same time that you have a clear process for proposing the change. So first of all, you're gonna have someone that is gonna come to you and propose, like, there's a change here. Our project be affected by this situation. And then after that, once someone is raising the change, you're gonna have the evaluation, because you just need to evaluate if it applies to your project, yes or no. For instance, the government changes something in the law regulation, in the regulation codes. Might affect my project, yes or no. So what does it say is that not all change actually can have an impact on us. So every time someone is coming asking for a change, don't panic. First of all, evaluate if actually it applies to your project as well or not. Then if it applies, you need an approval. So someone needs to approve the change, and otherwise you're gonna just have the rejection. So if it's not, the change is just rejected. Make sure that the decisions are made at the proper level. So it could be a project manager, change authority, like project board. The third one is the project board. There is like a slide later where we are gonna see like there's gonna be so many authorities that can actually approve a change. Of course, we are talking about different types of change. So every type of change needs to be approved by the person that is most close to evaluate that change and the impact that it could have inside the project. So some of the impacts, you need to manage the change request. So every time the change needs to come as a change request. It can't happen that you're gonna come to me and you're gonna say, Stefania, let's change this. I mean, this can create more confusion. So one of the real good points for being successful in managing changes is just actually provide a change request. Usually it's written, so everyone are aware, it's going to be on the record, and it can help even people that can come later in the project in see that actually that change has already been proposed, has been rejected, so I can move on. I don't need to repeat my process, etc. So you need to manage change requests, any proposal to alter or agree the product or baseline, any deviation. So usually deviation is just like a little change. So I mean, you're still following the same direction in the project, but you are taking another route for reaching the same goal. And then you need to handle these issues because, of course, we said that they have an impact on our project, and therefore every issue brings like problems, new suggestions, and questions from the people involved. And of course, you need to handle all of this. So let's see some good points for actually managing properly the change. So as a key element, we need to be sure that we have a baseline configuration. Because the Prince2 says that every product needs to have a clear baseline, so everyone are actually aware about what our goal actually is. It's black and white, and it's very detailed, and everyone are aligned. Everyone are on the same page. Another document that I really you really need to have is the issue register. We have said that here the Prince2 says that change is one of the issue, and so you need to have a issue register. The issue register is a document where you write down every issue, include change request, that may raise during the project. I remember you that we need to mention it also potential change. So potential means that they are there, but they are not there completely. In a way, like they could happen, but we are not sure 100% yet that the change is going to happen. But even if it is going to be 1% of yes, it could happen, and 99% of percentage like no, it's not going to happen, because it's potential, because it could have an impact on our project, we need to record it in the issue register. The type of issues are going to be of three types. Are going to be three, sorry. So we're going to have the request for change. So anyone can propose actually a change. We're going to have off specifications, where something was supposed to be delivered, but for some reason hasn't been delivered. So it means that our current plan changed from the past because we haven't delivered something that was planned, and this needs to go as well in the issue register. And then we are going to record as well any problems, any concern, so any worry or problem that requires your attention. Key element for recording this issue in the issue register. Okay, we need some identification. Anyone can raise the change, or maybe you can have a code. You need to say, from who is coming, etc. So the issue needs to be identified. Then you need logging. So record the issue in the issue register, as we were saying. Assessment, so analyze the impact that the issue, the change can have on the time, on the cost, on the quality, on the risk, and on the benefit on the project. These are usually the things that you're gonna double check. Then there's gonna be a decision if it's gonna be, how we were saying, approved or rejected. And then if it's approved, how we're gonna implement the change inside our project. This slide, it just says something very quick. So any quality change has to be approved always by the PB, is the project board. I remind you that the project board is the level where we are gonna have the representative of the supplier, the representative of the other, and then the executive. All of the three, because they are gonna put together all the needs from the three different groups involved. They're gonna be the only one that usually approve, not usually, they are gonna approve a quality change. So pay attention on this, because quality change is really, really important, and a project manager can't approve a quality change. Okay, I was saying in the white space, the project manager checks if the issue could be handled without the need to escalate it to the project board. We're gonna see in the next slide that we are gonna have so many people involved in approving change. It depends on the type of change. Any quality change, as a project manager, you can't approve it. I just want to highlight it because many times I saw people getting mistaken on this. And then another idea, just like every time you have a change approved, the baseline is going to change as well. And with the baseline, we need to change also cost, time, quality, and scope. It can be like one, it can be all of them, it can be 2 out of 4, whatever. But usually with a change, at least one of them is gonna change as well. So this is the tab that I was saying about who is gonna be responsible for approving the change or not. As you can see, the list is very long. And the idea is just like the person that is more close to understand actually the real impact on the final project in the bigger picture is gonna be the one responsible for that. I'm not gonna go too deeply because we are already almost 40 minutes on this live. So if you want, just DM me and I'm more than happy in send you the image, or if you want, you can always pause this video and just read it by yourself. But we have minor and major changes, and so many people are gonna be involved on that. So as a project manager, keep in mind that probably it's gonna be the executive that needs to approve the change, or might be the changing authority that's been delegated by the project board. As I was saying, every case is unique and needs to be studied. Configuration on the management. You always need to be aware of the version where you are at and who's still the owner of the project product. Because if something changes, these are 3 things that you need to have clear in your mind if you want to succeed. And okay, this is something as well very important, like the reason why we're going to implement some changes in our project. Of course, if we are implementing some changes, it means that we want to get better. So we are improving our project with a change only if the change introduces a new benefit for the other, for the client, for the supplier. There is like a new benefit in the project. If we're gonna need to deal with this benefit, the change is rejected. And at the same time, again, to protect an existing benefit. So if one of the benefit that we had already thought of back in the days when we had started, we have a lifetime benefit. One of these now is in danger. So it could be like it could change. It could become like a disbenefit. So in that way, if we need to protect the benefit, because of course we always want to get better, yeah, in that case the change is approved. So actually, as a project manager, what are the three main things that you need to do in your day-to-day work when a change happens? So you just need to have this issue report where there's going to be like a very detailed analysis for any significant issue. Then you're going to have a change control approach. So you just need to document outlining how the change are managed on the project, and just have very clear what is going to be your process. And then of course, because I mean, the change we say has an impact on our project, we will need to update, update all the plans and the documentation where the change has an impact on. And as a final one, I just want to remind you about if the change is going to happen in your personal life, in your person. I had like 2-3 months ago these lives with Barbara about the 5 steps for managing the change internally. So this is something that I was mentioning earlier. We're going to have, first of all, the awareness, acceptance, adaptability, accountability, and action at the end. This is personal. The other one is the management. Okay. I am over time. This live has been slightly longer than what was supposed to be, but so if you have any questions, just write down a comment here. So when I'm gonna reply, even the rest of the community can read. Or if you want to keep it private, no worries. I mean, you can contact me always as a DM. As I was saying, like these management documents and ideas and approaches that I have described here in this live are very generic, because I mean every project is unique, because otherwise if there would be no uniqueness, actually it would not be a project, but it would be a repetition of some other project that had already been studied and experimented, etc. in the past. Every project usually wants to create something new, so it's unique for that reason. We haven't created yet what the idea is in the client's mind, right? So I mean, every project is unique. Every project management needs to be tailored to the project. So if you want to have more clarity about how can you actually let me remove the slide. If you want more clarity actually on how you can apply that method to your own project, yes, please feel free to get in contact with me and my team, and we'll be more than happy in having a discussion and evaluating your case. For all the rest, I just wish you a lovely day, and yeah, I mean, see you next week. Bye.